AirgunWeb, and we are live today from our new studio. I can't tell you how excited I am to finally have space again. This is so awesome. We've got the wall o' guns going on back here. I've got like somewhat climate controlled. We are in West Texas, and I'd love to have air conditioning, but we run on solar, and that's not practical. But we've got some just, it's so much better than it used to be. This used to be named what I used to call the Easy Bake Studios because there was no insulation and the heat would just radiate on this metal building and it would just cook you. But now we've got insulation, and the guys have worked really hard to bring this, really bring this to pass. So I want to say thanks to Bob, our ranch foreman, James, my cousin, and everybody else that's part of Airgun Pro Shop and AirgunWeb out here at the ranch. Because without them, we wouldn't have all this done. So, what are we going to talk about? Well, I've been wanting to do this for a while, and there's a method to my madness. Let me try to explain myself here. So, you've got, whenever you do video work, you shoot your video, goes on the computer or whatever, and then you got to edit, and that editing takes time, and then you got to publish it, which takes time. And I have lots of footage. I've got like tons of footage, but I have very little time with all the things that are going on with me these days. So the best way I thought of being able to bring you guys new information, cool stuff about air guns, and let's just do it live. We don't have to edit unless I really screw up, which is possible. You'll get to see that as well. That's kind of cool, I guess. But we also then don't have to publish because it's already being published as we do it. So this is a new live show, and I'm hoping to do this, probably going to do this every couple weeks right now. We're waiting for some new internet out here, which is awesome. We got our own cell tower going out right over there, and we'll have some much better internet connectivity. Can't wait for that. And we'll be able to communicate, gosh, probably more regularly with maybe even some higher quality video and audio. So for today, we're running a kind of crippled biscuit settings, a little bit lower resolution, just so we can make sure we get this pushed out to you. But soon, hopefully very soon, we're going to have higher quality stuff going on. So I'm super pumped and excited about that. So what are we talking about today? Today's big news, and it's, I mean, you probably, you know, if you're into air guns, you've probably already seen some videos, maybe some reviews already on the new Umarex Origin. Well, I saw all of those and I was thinking, man, I cannot wait to get my hands on one. And the guys over at Umarex got me one, and this one is actually getting packed up and going on to the next person because there's so few of them out there right now. I don't get to keep it, but that's okay. I'm going to have one coming eventually that we're going to be able to do some more testing with. But this is my first sort of look at this thing. I just want to tell you, they have done a wonderful job with this. What they've done with this gun is they've really created what I'm going to have to just say is probably the best value, period, in an entry-level PCP package. Just period, full stop, done. This is it. If you want to get into PCPs and have a really nice gun, not like some, gosh, I wish I hadn't bought that and I got to go buy something else, but you actually want something that's going to last with you for a while, this probably is going to be it. Now, I'm going to just step off camera for a second. All right, so this is what you get. Let's flip it around here. All right, so this is what you get right here, guys. This is the box, and what's so cool about this, everything's in the box. Now, it doesn't come with a scope, and I got two videos coming out. I got one kind of a review video. We're going to go through a lot of stuff. I'm not going to like give you all the spoilers on that tonight because I do want you to watch the video, but I get into that. I get into something on that video about, gosh, if you're an airgun manufacturer and you want people shooting PCPs, you got to give them the whole package. You can't give them half of it and then expect them to go figure out the other half. You need to give them everything in one box. And I remember talking to Umarex about this a couple years ago at SHOT Show. It says, you guys, if you want to really get PCP mainstream, you got to be able to put this on the shelf, but deliver everything to the consumer. That's what you got to do. And that's what they've done. Now, they did make a choice, and I got to say thank you to Umarex for this particular choice, because normally there would be some sort of, I'll call it a less than optic. In other words, this gun shoots really, really well. I mean, we're getting really good results at 50 yards. I got a little little cheat sheet here. I'll show you what we're getting. So you really wouldn't want to bundle something less than, but if you added a really nice scope to this, then all of a sudden you blow your price point out. So just price-wise, this package, it comes with the rifle and, again, the hand pump. So nothing you got to go buy other than you do need a way to sight it. It comes with that, comes with 2 magazines. I mean, you're ready to go pretty much out of the box. Put a nice scope on it, and you're going to do some really nice shooting. But this thing, like MSRP, like, you know, like not what you're going to pay, but MSRP is about $400. So street price, like what you're going to buy it at like a major retailer, it's about $349. Now that is pretty awesome. So you're looking at PCP airgun, and we're going to get to some of the specifics about why this is better than, say, the other entry-level PCPs. We'll get to that in just a minute. But you get a really decent PCP, you get a way to fill it, and you get something that has some really good performance all in one box. And I love that because that makes it so much easier. The barrier to entry on PCPs has always been, how do you fill it? How do you put air in it? Now, you know, Crossman, way back when, they did the Discovery, brilliant, sold a bazillion of them, and it got people to then look at the next PCP and the next PCP and the next PCP. Because if you're an air gunner, let's say you're just starting out and you're used to buying or getting, you know, the big box brake barrels. They're inexpensive, they're really powerful, but you probably run into this thing where they're not as accurate as you'd like them to be, not consistently so. So, you know, if you want to shoot inch groups or less than inch groups at 50 yards, that is not very easy to do, if even possible, consistently so, with your typical big box brake barrel. It's just not going to happen. In fact, there's only a few brake barrels on the market that will really do that consistently. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that. The guns are cheap, and a lot of them don't really perform that well. On the other side, it takes a lot of skill from the shooter to be able to manage the type of recoil that the brake barrels produce, or the spring guns, gas ram guns produce. So that's why PCP is better, is like no recoil. So you got no recoil. It makes the shooting whole process much easier. Normally you have a multi-shot. This has 2 10-shot magazines. That's awesome. You got a lot more power, like your typical brake barrel, maybe pushing 15, 16 foot-pounds. This is pushing 30. And it's not like, doesn't top out at 30. It pushes 30 for a chunk of shots. So that's also very good. So PCPs just have a lot of things to offer. And before they were expensive, hard to fill them, etc. Not anymore. Now, we've had affordable PCPs on the market for many, many years now, really. I mean, from 200 and up, and maybe even less than if you catch it on a sale. But you've always had that other thing where I got to fill it. And then that gun may be a single shot and not a multi-shot. And then it's not suppressed. And you have all of these things that it's less than, less than, less than. Well, now let's talk about why this gun isn't less than anything. And this is really, really cool. Okay, so on the box, we've got these features, right? So the big deal, when you're filling the PCPs, you got to fill it. So I've hand pumped this at least twice, one from dead empty, like 0 to 3,500. It's like 34 and some change, because you can take it to 250 bar. Maybe it's 36 and some change. I don't remember. We're at 4,600 feet. Air's a fraction thinner here, so I don't know if it's a few more pumps or for me here than maybe you at sea level. But I pumped this thing up from dead empty to full was about 140 strokes. And I took my time doing it. And you get near the end at like 3,000 and up, it gets really hard. I mean, I'm a big guy. I'm putting all of my weight on it just to get the pump to compress. When you get past 3,000, it's a lot of work. So don't let that deter you, because I got some good news about that here. I'll tell you in just a second. So if you wanted to take a shot in a typical PCP, even like some of the ones that are 2,000 PSI, you're still going to put, like, to just get it up to that, you're going to be putting 50 or 60 pumps in just to take a shot. That's not fun. What they've done here is they've built a bit of a hybrid. So this is a PCP with a gas ram booster assist in it. I mean, I read the description. If you go online, Archer did an article on this gun, really good article, and he's basically echoing everything that I'm saying, or I'm echoing everything he's saying. We got a question, hand raised. What do we got?
Price on this one.
I've said it like a bunch of times. Price is $349. $349 street price. Now that's like today, so it may be more or maybe less when you go to get it, but it's $349 right now. That does not include the scope, but it does include the hand pump. Let me get back to the gun now. So they built a bit of a hybrid here. So you've got a gas ram in there, and I'm going to call it a gas ram boost assist. Okay, does that work? I don't know. But I read that like the technical, scientifical, I was more confused after that than before I read it. So really, essentially what you got here is there is a mechanical device in here that is actually helping the air in it be at a higher pressure. How's that? You've got a gas ram, so as you're putting air in, it's actually helping you get up to pressure more quickly. So if you want to take a shot, a single shot, you got, you're dead empty, you want to take a shot at a rabbit or whatever, 13 pumps, you can take a full power shot. That is very, very cool. Any other PCP, you're going to be putting 50 or 60 shots in it, or 50 or 60 pumps into it to take one shot. This one, 13 pumps, you're already over 1,000 PSI. Now, as you go, you got to start putting some pumps in. So to get to like 3,000, you're at about 120-ish. No, that's not right. To get to 3,000 PSI, hit 3,000 PSI at right around, might have been right around 110 strokes, give or take. But here's the thing that I found very cool. This is why I wasn't that concerned about it. It's hard after 3,000 PSI. The gun has just a very interesting shot curve. So if you've done anything with PCPs, specifically unregulated PCPs, this is unregulated, and you guys are going, that's it, I'm done, it's not regulated. Just cool your jets for a minute. So this one, because it's got the ram in it, operates more like a regulated gun than you'd think. And I was like really impressed. I got a shot string. Hold on just a second. Excuse me. Maybe I shouldn't eat dinner and then come do this. Anyway, I did a shot string today, and we shot 50 shots, first of all, 50 shots. And the way I do my shot strings, because I want to really know shot count as well as everything else, because, you know, the box says something, I want to know really what it is. I know we got a question. Let me finish my thought here. Where I do a shot string is I take a full, I make sure it's full. I take my shot and see what my feet per second is, and then I just shoot until I'm back down to around that number again. And I hit that point at about 50 shots. What's our question?
Angie wants to know, it's like a company 401k, you put some in and they match it, right? You put some in the gun, sort of matches it. Yeah,
Angie, I'm gonna have to give you a mic, Sue. I could actually mic you up. Next time, Sue's getting a mic. So the question is, it's sort of like a 401k. You put some in, they match it. That's actually a pretty good way to look at it. Thank you, Angie. That is that's better than I could have said it. Then obviously it was better than I said it. So thank you. So 50 shots. It started at like about 890. And then went up to 950, and really what happened is, instead of like spiking and then spiking like this or dropping, you know, instead of this traditional sort of shot curve in an unregulated gun, it was actually right about here, and it just did this, just very gradually went up, and then near the end, it kind of got a little bit kind of high at the end and then sort of fell off. Very impressed. I mean, there was a chunk of shots, about 35 shots in the middle that may have had an extreme spread of like 20. And this is in an unregulated gun. So that group of shots was doing about 930, and I was shooting the JSP 1589. So that's 30 foot-pounds, give or take a little bit. And it is like zinging them. So I thought that was awesome. So if you are using a hand pump and you don't have a tank and you're going to be working off of this for a while, if you shot from like 1,500 or from 2,500 down to 1,500, you're going to be in that sweet spot. Maybe a little bit, maybe 27 down to 15. You're going to be in that spot where I was getting duplicates on my Crony, and that was out of an unregulated PCP, and to me that's awesome. So that's not the only trick this thing's got up its sleeve. Okay, so the other thing we can do with this, or the other thing that really kind of impressed me, I'm going to move this box, although I do like leaning on it. We got another question. Hold on, I'll be right back. All right, before I move on to the next thing, what's the question?
So everything on the table is included?
Everything but the scope. The scope is not included. So you get 2 mags, you get the pump, you get the rifle. Go ahead.
The pump works with other PCPs too, correct?
Absolutely. The PCP, the pump is a generic PCP. In fact, what you got here is you have, this is the probe that you use to fill your gun. This is a standard Foster connector. So yes, okay, so you start with this. This pump will fill your other PCP. So it's a great way for you to get started into the sport and be able to just continue on. Now, I will tell you at some point you're going to want to get, like branding, at some point you're going to want to get, you like that? You're going to want to get a personal compressor. I cannot wait till the Umarex Radiator comes out because that's going to be affordable, reliable, durable, all of those things we want. But we're going to be later, like Q4, before that's out. But personal compressor would be phenomenal with this. But yes, this works with everything. So the other thing this thing's got up its sleeve, right? So I've worked with some other PCPs in this price range, and the stocks have always felt kind of cheesy. This feels great. This is a solid, it's plastic, I put that in air quotes because it's really more composite, like you'd have a synthetic stock in a firearm. It's got that feel to it. It really feels good. The gun overall is very light, even with the scope on it. We're probably 5 or 6 pounds in that range. I don't have a scale here to tell you for sure, but it's not very heavy. I would have no problems, you know, toting this around with absolutely no issue at all. The side lever is really nice. Again, we start talking about budget PCPs and they've got a bolt or they've got some other thing like that. Excuse me. This has a really nice smooth side lever. Again, 2 10-shot magazines come with it. That's very, very cool. You've got your pressure gauge right there. You kind of see where you're at. That's awesome. And up under here, you've got this little flap that opens up. Here's where you're going to fill your gun. You've got a degassing screw, which is actually pretty cool. So you got all of that stuff up under there. Now, here's another thing they got. There's like 2 more things we'll talk about here. One is, and I won't talk about the scope too, so don't let me forget that, guys. Don't let me forget the scope. The other thing you have is back here, you're able to set the hammer spring tension. So if you want to maybe take a little off the power, you can do that. Want to add a little more? You can do that. Now, you're going to want a chronograph because that's the only way you're going to know what you're doing. I can't tell you, well, you go all the way in, 3 screws out, you're going to be this. It's not going to work. Get a chronograph. If you're going to tinker with setting up your gun, get a chronograph because then you actually know what you're doing. You're not guessing. So with the chronograph, you'd be able to set that. You may get a few more shots or you may get more power. I don't know how that'll work for you, but you have that as an option. I think that's really cool. The other thing, this is a shrouded barrel. So in here, it's a moderator built in, so it's relatively quiet. So you have all of these things going in a gun, in a package, excuse me, a PCP airgun package that, again, minus the scope, we're looking at $350. Now, accuracy. If it's not accurate, it's not any good. That's my 50-yard groups, guys. That is 1/2 inch, 50 yards. And it does that pretty much every time. So I will take that. And here's the thing too, because I've got to actually get this out the door to the next lucky person that gets to take a look at this gun. It's not like I've tinkered with this thing for 3 weeks getting it to do this. This is out of the box, okay? So this is a couple hundred rounds through it. Just me playing around on the range, and we filmed today, and this is what we got. So that is pretty awesome. Gosh, there's a couple more things. The stock, the moderator, the trigger. The trigger is a fully adjustable 2-stage trigger as well. Now I haven't touched it. I've just been shooting it as it is, and it is just nice. I mean, I could be a little lighter, okay? Honestly, I could probably lighten it up a little bit. And the second stage is probably a little longer than I would like, but I'm not gonna bench rest with this. I'm gonna go hunting with this, or target shooting in the backyard with this. That's what I'm gonna be doing. And for all of those functions, the trigger is just fine. So let's talk about this scope. You will need to put a scope on this gun. We got a question, yes?
Only available in 22, or is it available in 25 as well?
Now, I don't see it in 25 right now. I think it's, oh, forgive me if I'm wrong, I know it's in 22 because I have one. It might be available in 177. I don't know for sure. But you can go to UmarexUSA.com. That's easy, www.umarexusa.com, and check it out because that's where you can actually buy them right there if you want. So pretty easy. They'll tell you if it's 177 and 22. I have not seen them in 25. I think they have them in 177. Personally, I think the 22 is just pushing 30 foot-pounds. It's really great because you're looking at any small game like rabbit, squirrel, jackrabbit, fowl, birds and stuff you want to take out, pigeons and that kind of thing, all the way up to raccoons and armadillo. So I know Angie's our armadillo hunting girl, and it's got a Picatinny rail. Did you see that, Angie? It's got slots on there, so you could drop your ATN on that. That would be kind of cool. A little night hunt with the Origin. Might be kind of a fun video. Maybe I'll do it. I don't know. And knowing Angie, she's going to beat me to that. But she's got to get one first. So that's going to be the ticket there. All right, so back to optics. You're going to need to put an optic on this gun. And what I went for, I went with the new Axion. This is the new Axion scope from them. These are kind of I won't say no frills because they're not less than scopes. They're actually a really nice glass. Very, very clear. The reticle in this, was that?
So does that mean you're sending it to me next?
Yeah, no. Angie, you're not getting this next. I don't know where this is going next. This is not to you, though. Anyway, when we'll get some in the pro shop. And when we get those, Angie, I'll be sure to take care of you. How's that? So this has got the new etched glass mil dot reticle. The first Axions we played with, very, very clear. I did a video way back where we did the clicks to 100 and then clicks back to 50 and it held 0, which is really cool, and a scope at this price point. Now they've got an etched glass mil dot reticle, and that's what they really needed, in my opinion, to be a really decent airgun scope. I want mil dots, just the way I am. But we've got side focus. It's a 416 by 44, really nice, clear glass. That's why I put it on here. I'm not sure what the price point is on this. Again, something you could probably check out at UmarexUSA. Excuse me, go to UmarexUSA.com and find out what the price point is on this. I don't know. It's probably a couple $100 at least. But again, don't quote me on that. It's just probably in that price point. But you put a nice scope on this and it's going to be worth it because the gun just shoots. And you go back to shot count. I got 50 shots, and if I were to probably aim at the same spot across all 50, and I got near the end, I bet you start a little bit of a rise because you did really see the velocity kind of spike, excuse me, a little bit near the end. But when I say spike, it was up 15 feet per second. I mean, we're not talking like a dramatic spike. But it went up a little bit and then it sort of came down, fell off. And I think what happens is you get lower on pressure and that ram's doing more. And it actually, before you have a PCP, it would just kind of gradually just continuously do this number. This just didn't. It just went up, and then dropped down. So they've done a great job with this, guys. Again, I want to go back to just my point. As far as a first PCP, I don't think you can do better, period. So if you don't have a compressor and you don't have a tank and you don't have a hand pump and you don't have anything but you want to get into shooting PCP air guns, maybe you've got a gun lying around with a scope you can toss on here just to start out with, just to go do a little shooting. Gosh, this thing is awesome. You cannot go wrong with it. You are going to love it.